Okay.
Yeah, we're live and we're live on time. Yes.
I like that. I like that a lot. I always get butterflies, so I'm glad that it's started right away.
It just starts. It just starts.
I'm always butterflies. All right, I'm going to go live on I'm going to open up my YouTube channel on my phone here.
Mm-hmm.
That way, whoever comes in on that, if they have questions, I might see them. And
We
hi,
have two,
Nancy Jane.
according to my reckoning, we have two. But like I'll see that we had 40 people watching us, and as soon as I turn it off, it'll say 80 something people are watching.
Oh wow!
So I'm like, okay,
Yeah, that's
I
awesome.
guess.
That works out. That works
Well,
out.
for everybody who's wondering, why are these women chattering on the computer like they know why we're here? Hi, I'm Nancy Jean from Nancy Jean's Garden, and this is Dorothy Morgan
Hi, I'm Dorothy Morgan,
from
astrologer.
the snowbanks of New Hampshire.
Oh, it's so cold, and we have another storm warning.
I know, I saw it. I was watching one of the weather reports, and it was like, I thought maybe I'll see something bright for Dorothy. No, big old purple going right through
I
you.
know it'll be 3 or 4 inches. That's not too bad because the last storm we got about 18 inches, and just a little bit further south of here, actually, the seacoast got hit even harder. They got over 24 inches. It was like the snowbanks, and it hasn't gotten warm at all. You know, we've been, if it gets to 30, we're lucky, but most of the time it's been in the teens. And during the day, the peak heat of the day is like 17 or 21. And so nothing even melts with the direct sun. However, and a theme for what we're kind of talking about today, a little bit of hope for spring, because the midwinter is February 3rd. So the calendar date between halfway between the winter solstice and the spring equinox is February 3rd. So we are actually over that hump, and the birds know it because where I live, there's enough woods nearby where I've got a couple of pairs of mating cardinals in the area, and they stay all year. And the male is out there on the tallest tree he can find, and he's out there just singing away.
Ready to nest.
I'm ready. let's create a little bit of friction, a little bit of heat. Anyways, so spring is, and I think in Chinese medicine, spring is also officially here as far as that type of holistic system. I can't remember how else to say it, but yeah, so we are inkling, but here in New Hampshire, we won't see bare ground and flowers probably until April, end of April. Fingers crossed.
As I was telling Dorothy, I've been fighting. I don't know what happened, but I pulled something in my back, and I went to the doctor because it was so bad. I thought it was a kidney infection. They ran the blood work and all the tests, and it's not. And he said, so, take Tylenol and use kind of muscle. Well, usually a salon pause or a patch type thing will do it for me.
Yeah.
Ain't touching it. I mean, it's like, and it's like, I'm fine as long as I'm standing upright or sitting in my one chair. But if I lay down to go to sleep, as soon as I go to sleep, I twist. And I mean, I've woken up screaming.
Yeah.
I mean, it's that bad. And I don't get that kind of pain. So, but today I walked out to go to my chiropractor and get her to sort of straighten out whatever it is. And I go up to my car and I have a flat tire. But at least I didn't have a flat tire in Dorothy's weather. I had a flat tire and it was already in the upper 60s and a light wind. And we're going to have a little bit of rain today. But there's been a heat thing. This is not a weather report. We're actually going to talk astrology.
We're going to talk astrology and stuff.
But there's a heat dome that went up the center of the U.S. and they said it was like in the 70s and 80s in Iowa yesterday.
I saw that. That would be, what a nice little break. It'd be like heading to Florida for a couple of days.
I remember in Illinois and Chicago when it would get like that, you'd go running around. So of course, the second it breaks 35, you're out taking your winter coat off. And yeah, that's right.
Yeah, because you can't even, like, I thought for sure when I went to the gym this morning, I could just carry my stuff in without my gloves on, because it was just such a pain in the rear end you bundle up to get into the car, and then you then you unbundle, then you it was so cold on my hands that you almost get frostbite. It's just that cold that fast. It's terrible.
I know. Anyway, well, hello from suburban Chicago. I don't know where you are in suburban Chicago, but I grew up in Joliet. So if it's 59 there and it's this early in the year, everybody's cheering, I'm sure.
Yeah. And there's a big astrology conference coming to Chicago in the fall. Is it the fall?
Is that the Norwalk or
Norwalk, yes,
Norwalk?
Norwalk. Yep,
Mhm.
yep.
Yeah, there was one here in Dallas, and there was a lady I used to read. I
Yeah.
read her cards. She was an astrologer, but she used to have me read her cards. And she was also a nurse, and she was sort of a more of a medical astrologer.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
it's good if you're going to be doing medical astrology, it's actually good to be known for that because medical astrology really takes a lot of study and you do need to know it's important. I guess you don't have to know medical terminology and be trained in medicine, but you
mhm.
really should be ethically, um, just my opinion.
So like Dr.
To
Gales was a surgical nurse, and then she was a chiropractor. And so when
Mhm.
she does body scans, she sees the parts of the body where they
Yeah.
are.
Yeah, I like that.
I'm
I
like,
like that.
go do that. I don't. I
Yeah.
worked in a lab, and that was bad enough.
Yeah.
So we're here,
We're here.
and we had a couple questions. We're gonna
Yeah,
go.
I'd like to start with the one we discussed ahead of time, because you just mentioned it. We didn't really discuss it because it's
Well,
the most recent.
they really both do about the eclipse. Both of them are.
Okay.
What's happening on the 17th? I'm most excited about it. What could we be expecting this month? And this is Annie Bear,
Okay.
who a lot of people know. She's a reader too.
Oh, nice. Hi, Annie Bear. Yep. Well, February 17th is the first eclipse of the year. It's a new moon solar eclipse. And right off the bat, I put this post just a couple days. There's a ton of memes. There's always a ton of memes just for clickbait. It's just what
Mm-hmm.
people do, and how it's just, the amazing ring of fire in the sky. And it's like, only if you live in Antarctica.
Yeah, I know. I mean,
They're not talking about that.
The last eclipse I watched, the one that went over Dallas,
Yeah.
My guides created a shell around me to protect me
Mhm.
from some energies. This was something going on a couple
Yeah.
years ago when I was having my heart things. And during that eclipse, a crack developed in my shell. And I couldn't figure out why I was having all these things go wrong.
Mhm.
And this one woman who works with me she's called me up. She goes, "What the hell is a cage that's around you?" She knew nothing about the cage. And she said, "But it cracked. It cracked in the lower right. But we
Mhm.
need your permission to rebuild it."
Ah.
Because I had to agree to go into the shell. Anyway, long
Always.
story short, she fixed the shell, but I'm not. So I'm just thinking about all these poor little penguins. If they don't have their shell on,
Do any of them live? I don't know what lives in the Antarctica. So in the
that's where the
south,
penguins are.
penguins are down there. Yeah.
Yeah, they're
All
not in the
right.
North Pole. There's no penguins in the North Pole.
Okay. Okay. I knew one of them didn't have any. I couldn't remember which one it was, to be honest. But I like science, but I'm not a. Ooh, something's ringing.
No, that's
Is that you?
I had my phone on because I was waiting for the tire guy to come fix my tire, and I forgot to turn the ringer off. So I'm about to go turn the ringer
Yeah.
off.
So let's go. Let's start right here. So while
Answer these
we're
questions.
Yeah, and dig into that a little bit because it's a great place to start. While we're not officially in the astronomical spring, we really are. We're just and spring is March 20th, as far as I'm concerned. But we're getting there. And this new moon solar eclipse on February 17th, it's at 7 a.m. Eastern time. So you all can adjust it for wherever you live. But the point is like it's in Aquarius. This eclipse is in Aquarius, and that energy is represents the thinking mind, the higher mind. It's at the final degree of Aquarius. It's at 28 degrees and I think like 45 minutes, something like that, which is officially the 29th degree of that zodiac sign. And that means that before we engage with a new moon, and the solar eclipse is a new moon, before we engage with that, we are really recognizing old cycles and old patterns that need to be released. It's really critical. And while you and I are recording this on February 10th, and it's live right now, so we're in that week before the new moon solar eclipse. So I'm going to tell everybody this week, give yourself space to stop, to recognize what is just ready to pop. What are you just had enough of? You can look at the world we know what's going on there. We can just see things unfolding and continuing to reveal themselves. And that's fine. But I'm always wanting to bring it back to what you and I can do with this, with the astrology. Right. If you can hear all the astrologers in the world saying things that are doom and gloom or really good or whatever, but how is it for you in your world? And so I'm telling you, anybody who listens to this now, between now and the eclipse on the 17th, make sure you give yourself space to really see what old patterns, old habits, and things that you've thought of and believed in really need to be left behind. Things that aren't your truth anymore. Mm-hmm. And even having, like I said, like what we see going on right now with all of those files, the things that's just revealing more and more and more. A lot of people knew, a lot of people didn't. People are like dumbfounded, some aren't. Whatever your response is, pay attention to that and work on that in your own world, and just say, all right, I've believed something for a long time, and now it's time for me to move back and away from that. Right. And this eclipse is at a 90-degree angle to the planet that is in charge of Aquarius, and that's the planet Uranus. Mm-hmm. At the end of Taurus as well.
Yeah, and it's way far into Taurus.
Oh my gosh, he's almost done. He'll be in when does he move into Gemini? He's already been in Gemini for a little bit. I wrote it on some notes. Where did I write it though? Here it is. Yeah, he was already in Gemini in July, August, September, October, November 2025. But in April, the end of April this year, he goes back, and we'll talk about that next, but he goes back into Gemini. But right now, for 8 years, he's been in Taurus, and that has been shaking us up to figure out what's my roots, where do I feel secure, where am I staying in something that feels familiar and secure to me, as opposed to breaking away and breaking into something different. And so sometimes things have to break for us to change, because we get stuck. Mm-hmm. Sometimes the rug has to come out from under us so we can just start something different, right? Mm-hmm. And this eclipse is really initiating that. And when the new moon and when the moon and the sun make that 90-degree angle exactly to Uranus is before the eclipse, just hours, but it's before, day and hours before the eclipse, meaning the big lesson is to let things go and do everything like I just said. I don't want to repeat myself, but I have this written out on my website, guys. And so it's a blog post on my website, and I have my eclipse forecast here on my own YouTube channel. And for you guys, Nancy Jeans, come to my channel and you can watch that eclipse forecast. Yes. And on my website, the blog is all written out. It's just a 3 or 4 minute read, but it gives you bullet points, and right. You're able to, so you can figure out how to work with it and not just hear all this astrology jargon, which, well, what does that mean to me? I'm right. telling you what it means to you, and you can go read what it means to help yourself. So, okay. Yeah.
I'll tell you, I'm going to show you this one. This is another one, sort of. This is the first eclipse season. It'd be intense. We just went over that. It really depends on what's on your chart. Last year's eclipse weren't fun for me. And this is where you have to get to know your own chart. I didn't realize it, but on my first birthday, when Uranus was in Taurus and was permanently in Taurus, on that day, that's when I dyed my hair purple.
It really makes some difference. Oh, I know when that happened, I had a friend suddenly pass away, and I won't go into it. It's dark. It's dark, but right. So if somebody was saying, how are this eclipse season going to impact me this year? Because last year was tough. I'm gonna here's a little bit of astrology stuff. But last year, the March, the eclipses were in Virgo, Aries, Pisces, and Virgo. And, they go backwards in the zodiac. And so it depends on where those eclipses were impacting your chart. And it could have been something else that was simultaneously impacting your chart. So it's not just the eclipses. There's always a lot going on. Anybody's familiar with an astrology chart, or at least just familiar, there's just symbols and lines everywhere. And that means more than one thing's always happening.
I know, it's all those lines. I have a friend who one time I just pulled a chart up for her that I had on my phone, and I said, "Well, this is where you are," and she said, "That looks like geometry. I hated that course." That was the end of it for her.
I loved it. I loved it. But,
I didn't like geometry, but
well, I'm okay with it now because I need to be. But the second example is this year's eclipses are Aquarius, Virgo, Leo, Pisces. So there's just another whole, it's moving away from the Virgo and the Pisces, which was the basic theme last year. It's moving away from that, and it's moving into Aquarius and Leo. But there's a lot of other major things going on
well,
too.
this one we may be able to help her. Her birthday's actually on the 17th.
Oh, Lord. Oh, shoot.
Not shoot. It's got to open up some bright opportunities.
I'm going to tell you, it depends. It depends on the exact time. It's called a solar return chart. It's a birthday chart. And it depends on that number of the degree and the minute of what your sun is, the person born on February 17th. And when we return every current year, we'll return the sun to the number that yours was when you were born. Now, you might have the balsamic lunar phase, or you might have a new moon phase. We don't know yet. And that is very distinct, very different. So having an eclipse on your birthday usually means that there is a big change in your life. I had one a few years back, and when things that need to change, and it brings that to your attention, the things that need to change. And let me lead with this. We did talk about this before we started. I don't always use Sabian symbols. Now, what they are is just symbols that a person had channeled years ago, and it is a symbolism for each one of the 360 degrees of the zodiac. So they each have their own vibe. And when something is at 28 degrees and so many minutes, that's actually the next degree. It's the 29th degree.
Right.
Because we start with 0. Okay. And so this eclipse.
Explain that little peculiarity. There are 30 degrees in every astrologic sign.
In every zodiac sign,
They go from 0 to 29.
To 29 and 59 minutes. Yeah. So there's
there's
0 to 29 degrees, and then there's 0 to 59 minutes. The minutes, 59 minutes equal 1 degree. So
the only thing I ever saw that was more weird than some of the rules around astrology was election law. When I had to know that. So
it's been going for thousands of years, the astrology. So I'm pretty sure their math is pretty good.
Oh no, I know.
There's a good reason for it. I can't tell you what it is, but there's a good reason for it.
It's not the way we think it should be, but that's okay.
Indeed.
They didn't ask me, even though I was apparently live when some of that stuff was written in my Akashic records.
Very good. Very good.
Anyway.
So I trust my intuition lots of times. And when I'm just working on something, and I was prepping for this forecast, I was like, I heard check the Sabian symbol. I just hear words like that. And I did. And this is just beautiful, because what this is, the 29th degree of Aquarius, the Sabian symbol meaning is a butterfly emerging from a chrysalis. And to me, that's what actually gave me how do I want to focus on this eclipse? Because there's just tons of people doing forecasts, of course, but how do I want to focus on this eclipse? And that's where I went, because the evolution of what's going on for us right now, Aquarius is about changes and, evolutionary changes and rebellious changes, and really the bigger shifts here. And when you think of a caterpillar, I mean, it's in a chrysalis, and it's gone through a big change. And when it's emerging, it has to struggle. Getting birthed and being birthed is a struggle, and that struggle makes you stronger. Sometimes it doesn't help at all, and sometimes, but you need that struggle getting out of that.
Gooey. They have to dry out. They have to stick their body out in a certain order to dry out properly so that they can fly.
And just so the process of emerging from a chrysalis is hard work, but then you get to fly free. And of course, Aquarius is air. And I love that analogy. Pluto, the Lord of transformation, is in the early degrees of
Right.
Aquarius. And Pluto, again, Lord of transformation, early degrees. This is also the whole process of a caterpillar to a chrysalis to a butterfly or moth. It's all of those things. And this eclipse is really highlighting that. And it just gives us a chance to, it makes the struggle to break free worth it. So we fly and we can process and we can go through a lot of things, because all the planets that are shifting signs this year, a lot of them did it in 2025. We got a little sneak peek, preview of what's to come. And that's all over my website, on all my different blogs of when Neptune and Saturn are in Aries and their conjunction, and that's out on my forecasts too. The thing is like we're shifting out of the earthy water energy into, which is the yin, the feminine, the receptive, kind of passive, kind of processing, to the fire and the air. And that is, what actions do we need to take? And this is where you're going to see a lot. This is a big year of people really fighting for what they believe in, fighting for the causes that are important for them, even more so than how we've been sort of like processing and processing and processing. And now we're getting to the point where things are ready to shift. And it all starts with this. I mean, I think it all starts right now. I mean, as we're talking and into this eclipse. And then February 20th, right after this eclipse, is the exact conjunction of that Saturn-Neptune. So much information on that. I have that out on my website too, and by houses, so check that out. And it's all in Aries, so that's the fiery and that first degree of Aries, which is all about just initiating and just doing without thinking, and again being a pioneer in what we're doing. And there's just so many ways this coming right now, as we get to the spring, that it's just so many changes are happening. It's a big year of movement, having a 1 year in numerology as well.
I know. Last year, if you didn't wrap it up last year, you're going to get a good chance to look at wrapping it up right now.
Yeah. It's a lot. I know that was a lot all at once, but that's
one of the things I want to talk about is when people talk about this giant thing's happening to the whole world, when they're talking about that kind of astrology, that's called mundane astrology, which seems to me to be the wrong word for it. But
I know.
mundane to me means the normal everyday shit, but it's not.
It does. I agree with you. I don't know why
it's called mundane astrology, but what Dorothy's talking about, and this is why I wanted to bring her on, especially now when all these changes are hitting us and all these planets are hitting us, they're not all hitting us the same.
No.
Because we all have our own private chart. And if you go to Dorothy's site, she can tell you kind of how to get a chart and because when you start to understand your own chart, then you can look at these things and go, oh, well, that's not, I can hear these. I mean, some of these young astrologers, they get so doom and gloom. And I'm like, honey, you should have been around in the 60s.
Yeah.
You ain't seen it yet.
It's just a lot of
learning.
Amateur astrologers, and they have a platform. When I was an amateur astrologer, I'm glad there wasn't a platform, because you just
you'd be out there racing tapes madly, getting them off the YouTubes.
Yeah. So I don't know, but there is just so much going on. And again, the next focus is the Saturn Neptune conjunction at 0. I think back in I know. And that's a big thing. And that's really important because, the conjunction is at 0. But Saturn and Neptune.
36 years? It happens every 30 something?
About every 36 years, 37 years, something like that. It's the last time they were conjunct was 1989. I think it was the summer of 89. I remember it. I was just learning astrology. I just started studying then. So I know exactly what that felt like. And it was at 11 degrees of Capricorn. But the 0 degrees conjunction. I think I heard Pam Gregory say something about it was 4,000 something BC. So it's a pioneering. We're in a new age.
We didn't have a whole lot of people writing down what they saw, so we're going to kind of get to walk through it like pioneers.
Yeah, the math can do it. The computers can do the configurations. So the last time Saturn and Neptune were near each other, I'm looking at my notes. Don't forgive me for looking down. I can't remember the exact degree, but it was, I think they're around 1 degree, 0 degrees and 1 degree, was July 15th through the 19th. And they were 12 minutes of arc away from each other. So, there's 59 minutes and
last
60
summer,
minutes in a degree last summer, last July 15th through the 19th, 2025. They were within 12 minutes of arc apart from each other. That means they were right with each other. They were already hand in hand.
Mm-hmm.
But Neptune was at 1 and Saturn was at 0. But they were only 12 minutes apart. Very, very, very tight. And so we already have had the vibe of what it feels like. We've already had it, even though it's happening again, and it just seems like, well, this is the volcano. This is the moment. It's, it's really happening. But we had an awful lot of strong clues back in the summer of 2025. So think back to that, because that will give you a lot of heads up. And the exact dates that these two guys were exactly at, when Saturn was exactly at the degree that this conjunction was June 5, 2025. And I got Neptune here somewhere, but I can't read my own writing. April 20th, 2025 for Neptune. So they've already been here. They've already connected, just not at the complete and total conjunction.
Right. And then you got to understand, when something moves forward and it just keeps moving forward, then you're locked into a new cycle.
That's right. That's right.
The sky gives you a lot of chances to say, do you like this? Well, peekaboo, kind of.
Well, we get to play with that in a very light way whenever Mercury is retrograde, and that will happen at the end of February. But I'm not overly concerned about shadow periods, but it's nice to pay attention to when certain planets come together with Mercury, because it will go over 3 times. And I get that. That's my weekly forecast. That's in Patreon and on my membership platform on YouTube. But we go deep into that stuff every single week. But we don't have to go into it here. But those are the things that all of this so far, all of this Aquarius stuff, this Saturn Neptune energy, again, where it will help us to, whether we want to or not, honestly, whether we like it or not, the things that don't need to stay here can be released and will be released. And it's just, I think it's important for us not to be frightened of something like that, because if something is supposed to be leaving your life, if you're a believer in what we talk about, then even though sometimes it feels uncomfortable, in hindsight, when you have a little space between you and whatever that happens, you'll see how it was for your better, for your good. And I know sometimes it's like, I don't want that to happen, and I don't think that was good, but then you're not looking at the whole picture.
Yeah. I had a therapist one time who said to me, think about the things in your life that when the change finally happened and whatever, and the only way you can have change is to not have what you have all around you all the time. And he said, think of it like a teddy bear you were clutching onto. And when you finally let it go, you notice it's all covered with fingernail scrapings and shreds. And but the whole time you're saying, oh, I'm going to get rid of this. We were talking about ex-husbands, I think, at the time.
Yeah. That's so funny.
And the things that I finally let go of, I had claw marks all over them because my wisdom told me to hang on,
Yeah. And people don't like change. And most of us, I see this in a lot of people that have this fixed energy in their birth charts. And Aquarius and the Uranus and Taurus, they're fixed. That means just stay, no change, right? But when Where's I going with that? Oh, shoot.
When you let it go, I'm a Taurus. When you let it go, it like explodes away. You don't
Oh, I
let
know
it.
what it was. That's right. Sometimes all of a sudden people will recognize, you'll, as a person who is like observing, if I was observing you and you and I are friends and we talk about the same thing all the time, and you have the same problem and you never let go and you never address it, and it's always something that's in your life, and eventually you've processed it enough. This is fixed sign energy, and
Mhm.
then you finally let it go. And people who don't know you well will say, "Oh, that was sudden." And people who do know you well say, "No, no, you worked on that for years. That was not sudden."
Without change, we cannot grow. I
Terrific.
mean, think about
Absolutely.
it.
Very
It's
wise.
doesn't
Yeah.
happen.
Yeah.
So, okay, I wanted to ask you about this. Someone told me that Saturn and Venus are going to come together soon, and you should be able to see it from the Earth. Do you know anything about that?
There we go. Hello.
Dorothy has bad weather by her, so she can cough
A
and
little
hiccup.
cough. Yeah, I don't know when they're coming together. Let me take a look. I can see if I can find it in the ephemeris.
It's anyway.
Venus has entered Pisces today, so it'll probably be about 3 weeks from now when she
Yeah.
enters Aries. Let me take a
And
look.
the fun thing about it is, if you live in an area where you can go out and see it, you can actually kind of look it up and find. There's little sites that will tell you, look up at this point in the sky and you'll see it. And I remember when Saturn and Jupiter met at 1 degree of Aquarius, in to
Yeah.
bring in the air. That had to do with a 200-year cycle that
Yeah.
we won't go into, but when they finally met, they'd been in Earth for 200 years, and they met in air. And I went out to look at it because, having been an Earth sign, and I've been reading about it, and people kept saying to me, well, what's going to happen to us? Are we going to like explode, or what's going to happen? Well, it meant universally, it ushered in the Industrial Revolution, but now we're going into the new revolution, which is AI and more air-based and based on your mind.
Mm-hmm.
But I went out in the middle of the golf course that I live by and looked up, and there they were, just twinkling away. But the other reason I went out to see it was I was 18 years old, and I was taking a free university course where I went to school, where I was in college.
Mm-hmm.
And it was an astrology course, and I just went in to see what it was about. And there was a teacher teaching it, and he was an older man. And he said, I won't live to see this day, but some of you have a real potential to go out on this day. And this only happens every 200 years, and you can go out and see it. So what we're going to talk about happens every 40 years, the Saturn end.
Right. Saturn, Venus. I'm looking to when Venus will come back, because she's down in Hades right now. She's still with Poseidon.
Oh dear.
It's just part of it. She's still with the sun. She's still too close to the sun for us to see her, because I had to look into my ephemeris. If you guys have the Llewellyn, this is a great book. It's got all kinds of stuff. It's the Llewellyn astrology calendar. It has the planets when they're visible in the morning and the evening, because they do shift. Venus has, the last time we saw her was the last day of December 2025. We won't see her in the evening sky, and you're still going to have a very clear view, like no hills, no mountains.
Right.
February 17th is when she starts coming out as an evening star.
Mm-hmm.
Every day after that, I mean, she starts moving pretty quickly away from the sun. Every day after that, she'll start to rise, and she'll be an evening star through October. I can't wait, because I can't see anything east. There's too many tall pine trees, but I can see west, which is behind me out that my living room, and I can't wait to see Venus. I haven't seen her since, it's been a long time. So that being said, I'm looking at the astrology for March 8 is when Venus and Saturn are conjunct. So yes, if you have a good view in the evening, so just after sunset for your time zone, look west, and you're going to see Saturn and Venus, because Venus will be, I don't know how brilliant she won't be overly brilliant yet, I don't think. I don't know. But Neptune's right there with it, but we can't visually see Neptune in our
The
eyes.
last
But
planet you can technically see with your eyes is Saturn.
right. And if you have really good eyesight, you can see Uranus with binoculars if he is in a position.
Yeah, but
Things come through
basically
oblong.
that's why in old astrology they only went up to Saturn because that's the last one they could see.
Yeah, until we got telescopes.
So we
Yeah.
got telescopes.
Yeah, until we got the telescopes, couldn't see anything else. But they knew other stuff was there by the way things moved, but they couldn't see it. So,
And
anyways, yeah,
I
March
can't figure
7th.
out how they know mathematically. So it's March 7th, guys. I will remind us all. I wrote it on my little pad of paper.
But that's the exact conjunction. But that doesn't mean you're not going to be able to see it the days before, because you are.
I know.
If I go back a few days, just because it's not exactly conjunct, I'm betting you by the time we get to the 1st of March, you're going to be able to see it.
Good.
But she might be, no, she's so close to the sun. I know February 17th is when she is far enough away from the sun in the evening for us to see her, but she sets really fast. I mean, if your sunset is around 6 p.m. In March, early March, don't go out at 6:30. It'll be over with. I mean, she'll be down. So yeah, right at sunset. Give it some extra time. I mean, give it be there early and
it won't be. It's not like the stuff at 4 in the morning. You can go out and see something.
I know.
4 in the morning, all I'm seeing is my sheets in my bed and my
inside of my eyelids. I'm that way too. I'm not a big fan of that. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I'm not an early bird.
The thing about learning about how to look up in the sky and see these things, it's like we can really see the dance of that energy when you look up in the sky.
Yeah. Yeah. It's beautiful.
And that's why Dorothy does a lot of moon work. She does a lot of things with lunar cycles. And lunar cycles, the way the moon rises here, I just walk out my front door and look across the roofs and it's there.
Yeah, well, for me, if I have windows, 2 windows right here on the other side of the room, and the moon has a path that goes from north to south regularly, and it's not on at the same time every month, because the moon cycle is 28 point something days every month. And so the moon, when it rises, even if I can even see it, it could rise as way over here. It could rise in the south, way over there, or it can rise so far north. I see it in the window that is on the other side of the building, not even this side, way over there. So north and south, and it rises in between all of that. And that's called the declination. And all the planets do that, but the moon moves is the quickest, obviously. And we get to see it north to south. And that's why every full moon seems to be in a different place, because it's slowly, each of the full moons is slowly going from north to south, and north to south and back again throughout the year. So that's how that works. And through the month, it does that whole cycle through the month. Right. It's crazy out of bounds stuff. It's good. It's good though.
It's good fun stuff. It's fun.
It is
something you can go see.
You can. Yeah. Yeah. And in the time of year where there's good weather, because right now I've seen the night sky maybe 2 nights out of the whole month.
You've been under a storm cloud. Snow.
Yeah, New England is kind of stinky up here right now.
Yeah, and
it's the same way.
I did see an article that this has nothing to do kind of with astrology, but in Denmark they're changing all their night lighting to red light.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, because it matters. It makes a difference.
It matters to you physically as to how you absorb it. And I saw a whole street lit up with red light. You can see everything just fine. But the other thing it's going to do is it's going to get rid of the washing out of the night sky.
Yeah. And one of the things that with too much light pollution, actually, it interferes with fireflies. They actually they don't live and reproduce where there's too much light. They just,
that's what they were saying. It's not just
they can't see each other.
They were listing all the critters and birds and other things that this is going to help with, and they're saying that other European countries are looking what they're doing and seeing. Nice. So, as a species, we may be maturing.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Yes,
Still some holdouts.
we are taking questions. I know you're out there. I know.
No, I just went to your channel because I only have a few people on my channel. And
yeah, I've got 34 on mine, and you've got 3 on yours. That's
yeah.
a new feature. There's a little, used to be an eyeball that said how many people are watching.
Oh.
And since I'm the hostess, I can put.
Oh, you can tell.
Yeah, I can tell.
Well, we can talk more.
Well,
what else did I want? What else do we have
in your bag of tricks?
I talked about the energy of a lot of fire. Oh yeah, you know what? What's next? We have the we have that Uranus. Oh, we have the Saturn, Neptune, Aries. So we talked about that a little bit. Again, you can watch a nice long form video about that also on YouTube. And then the Uranus and Gemini. That is the next shift after those other two. So the next bigger shift, it would be Uranus and Gemini. We have a Mercury retrograde in there somewhere, but whatever. That's we're just used to that. Come see my daily stuff if you want insight on that. April 26th through 2026 through May 22nd, 2033, Uranus will now be in Gemini because it was in Gemini last year, July through November. And so,
but this now time when it goes over, it stays over.
And this time it stays. Yeah, usually spends 8 years in a sign, right around approximate 8 years. And so with Uranus now in an air sign, it's ruler of an air sign, the modern ruler of Aquarius. So it's okay in that sign, its own triplicity, and it's happy there. It's going to change. This is why AI has just blown up. Pluto in Aquarius, as well as Uranus coming into Gemini. New ideas, new ways of processing. The last 8 years focusing just on Uranus has been about making sure where you are grounded, and what's left there is your stable, it's your foundation. And so make sure you hone in on that if you're not feeling stable in something. We all have to have something to tether us to this earth, into this groundedness. And once Uranus gets into Gemini, information overload, which that's kind of, we already have that a lot anyways, but it's going to help us to just process and filter. Again, technology is going to do a lot of different things that's really going to stir things up. But on a very human level, let's back off from the technology, but on a human level, that Uranus and Gemini is asking us to be curious, but also stay sharp, like stay on your toes, because Gemini, I am one, it's a very adaptable sign. So we want to change our ways. We want to be very adaptable and be very flexible and quick thinking, right? That's a piece of what that is. Okay. And that's fine. And so be that, but it's also using our voice, because Gemini is the communication information. And so it's going to be powerful and really important for us to continue and to really lean into sharing our truth, speaking up for what we believe in, not working with groups and causes and major,
finding our new conscious families.
Yeah, that, just who are we standing up for? It's we the people is what it is. I mean, I'll just say it that way, and however you want to stand up for what your rights are, or what you believe in, or the rights of others, because Uranus is the ruler of Aquarius in its natural placement. That's the groups, that's causes, that's humanitarian causes. Being in Gemini, that means that's personal. So I need to find in my local community how I can make a difference, standing up for what I believe in. And that's really big like that. Setting boundaries around that too. And listening. Listening is going to be important as well.
If you listen to people, it's amazing, because
they tell you exactly what they're going to do.
Everybody's always talking at each other's head. I've got a question to show. Bad Vicky, you put your birth time in, but she has Neptune in Scorpio and Saturn in my rising sign Capricorn. Wondering how this would affect her.
What will affect you? Yeah, I'm not going to, I don't have my astrology software up today, unfortunately,
Okay.
Vicky, I'm sorry. What will affect you?
If how things that are going on, anything
Well,
that
there's a lot going on. There's so many different things going on. I mean, it's hard, you know, yeah, I would need to put your chart up and evaluate where all of these different things are. We have Aries, Saturn, Neptune, and Aries. We have the eclipses in Aquarius, Uranus and Gemini, different signs. We also have Jupiter moving into Leo. So these are all different areas. So everybody is going to have, wherever that is in their astrology, all these different areas of their lives are going to be going through different shifts.
okay, what
So
Vicky was interested in was the conjunction. But if you have that much of your birth chart, you should be able to look at that conjunction and kind of figure it out.
yeah. And
Okay.
yeah, if you know what house 0 degrees of Aries is in, Vicky, go to my YouTube channel where the Saturn Neptune video is. Look below, and if you
And
know
it
what
tells
house
you which
it's
house.
in, because I have everything timed. Well, listen to the first part to
Mhm,
understand what it means, the Saturn Neptune conjunction,
mhm.
and then you can skip ahead to the house placement for yourself, because
Right.
and I talk about that in that video as well. So go check that out, because that'll help you a little bit, or just come have a reading.
Yeah,
That's what I'm here for too. It's my profession. This is what
that's
I
what
do.
she does. I'm a Scorpio sun, Cancer moon, and with Cancer rising. Oh, baby.
I'm so sensitive. Wow, you are
Wow.
sensitive.
Uh,
You need a big hug.
should I only look at the transits for this year? Should she, like get like a transit mapper?
Well, yeah, if that's what you want. Yeah, you don't want to go that any further ahead than that. I mean, you can on some of the bigger things, the long-term goal, but yeah, if I'm doing the transit chart, I mean, yeah, I offer that. We'll talk about whatever time frame you want, but if you go so far ahead, sometimes you lose track. And like I've heard you and Scott say, it's like, well, this is how it, you can put the energy in. This is how it feels right now, as far as like maybe making a business plan, as an example. But I don't know what choices you'll make a year from now that will change what I may have said 7 years from
Mhm.
now. It depends on where you're actively focusing at that point in time. And we work back and forth with each other when we talk about that in our
Right.
charts.
And the other thing you guys got to realize, the planets have done a very weird thing this year.
Mhm.
All the planets, all of the things we watch in astrology except the moon,
Yeah.
were on one half of the chart. So
Yeah.
there's 12 pieces of pizza, but only
Mhm.
6 of them had pepperoni on them.
Yeah. I know the charts have been, things do get condensed here and there, and
Yeah.
that really is mainly off of the outer planets, because the inner
Hmm.
planets tend to
They
well,
move
they
fast.
sort of stay, but they sort of stay together,
Right.
as a cluster. The
I'll tell
sun.
you a
Mhm.
trick I learned, because Venus and Mercury are between us and the sun. They will only ever get so many degrees from
Right,
your birth sun. So
from the
they're
sun.
always
Yeah,
going to be right around you.
yeah.
And both mine are in extremes. But why is anyone amazed? Um,
No.
but it's that's one way to look at it. But for all the planets, for everybody to get scrunched into one little half of the pizza, I thought
Mhm.
that was kind of a fun time.
Yeah, yeah. There's shapes. There's we have them shaped, given
Well, the
whatever
other
the
thing
shape
is
of it
that the
is. Yeah.
closer the planets get to each other,
Hmm.
the more they affect each other. The more
Yeah.
they kind of
It's
they.
like it's like having a committee
Hmm.
of 10 people in the
Hmm.
room, and everybody has to agree on something, and not everybody's, no, that's not happening.
No, they're not, because they're all very.
It's like herding cats.
Well, we just had a lot of February 16th is now. She's awaiting her new start.
Nice. Well, February 16th. That's just mean, really. So that, yeah, I see Nancy. Okay. So that means there are a whole bunch of things that you're absolutely
Oh,
shedding first.
yeah, but she's going to have an 11 when she crosses her birthday. She'll be an 11 2 year.
Nice.
So
Good. So
11 is
make
an
sure you're
master
doing what
number,
you need to do.
right? You're in a year where you can really do a lot of mastery for yourself, Nancy. I'll do it. I'm going to be doing another show on numerology, because we're going to be talking about that, because I'm going to be teaching
Yeah.
it when I teach my tarot class. If you've never taken a tarot class, you can learn all about that in the tarot class, the first thing I teach
Thanks,
is
Vicky.
numbers.
I see, Vicky. I get it. Thanks, Vicky. I know we have. I thought I recognized your
Vicky
name.
says she will look at your newsletters.
She goes, I get it. Okay. Sorry. I recognized your name. I thought we had.
Okay.
Session.
Natal charts is what you walked in with.
Yep.
But you don't still wear diapers, do you? I mean, transits are the clothes that have gotten thrown on you over time. So
things that you've learned. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I know. I had somebody. Here's a question that came through one day. Not here, but somebody made a question on one of my YouTube posts, and they were like so confused because she goes, "There's so many different astrology systems out there. One says I'm a Capricorn, one says I'm a Pisces, and one says, you know, she named something else." And it was like, and she goes, "I don't know which one I am. Why can't you guys make up your minds?"
Yeah, well, somebody is like, you can have one thing if you're in Vedic, and then there's Placidus, and what's the other one?
No, those are house systems.
Yeah.
But what you said was correct. I'll step in. There's the tropical zodiac. That's what I use. We know where the ecliptic and the celestial equator cross. That's the moment of spring, right? Spring and fall. That's where our zodiac starts. That's tropical zodiac. Then there's the Vedic system that focuses heavily on the constellations. And that's off by 20 something degrees at this point. So if you're, like me, I'm a Gemini in the tropical zodiac, but I'm a Taurus in the Vedic system. And both systems work perfectly fine because we all have a core belief, but we all have a different approach. And then the other thing, she was like, what I ended up discovering she meant was it's secondary progressions. And that's just a way the chart gets wiggled a little bit, depending on how many years you've been here. And it tells us it's an inner journey process. It's not this zodiac sign you're looking at. So she doesn't understand that. And the way I explained it to her is just like, there's one God, honestly, but we all come at it from a different religion and a different approach. And we all have a core belief of what God should be. So it's no different than all of the religions who we all come back to one core belief of some form of God, and no different than what the astrologers are doing. And it is confusing when you're listening to a gazillion amateur astrologers, and even not the amateur ones. I mean, just when you have so much astrology available to you and not one clear, strong, steady source, like a book and a teacher.
Yeah, there isn't one answer to life. I mean, I had somebody who said to me the other day, I don't want to hear about these changes because Jeffrey and I do a show every week. And if you click on my channel, you get notices about it. It's called Weekly Wanderings. And we do wander. And he does tarot and I read in the garden, and so our reading for this week is that things are kind of confused and they don't seem to be moving forward, and you're getting to the point you want to tear your hair out, like just move, just like you're like in a giant mental traffic jam, just move.
It is. That's the fixed energy,
right?
That's the fixed energy, the astrologically fixed energy. And we can feel that way. But yeah, I mean, right now the moon is, where are we today? What's the moon? The moon has entered Sagittarius now. Yesterday was Scorpio.
It's just so frustrating. So, and then as we saw it, the next week after that, all of a sudden people begin to understand what they're all of a sudden goals get easier to hold on to. And then after that, we read out for the next 3 months. We read out to the end of April. And it's like at the end of that time, you're standing in a completely different world. When I was rolling stones in the garden, the outer garden has chakras. And one week it was in the root. That was the week that it said, we know we have to make a movement. The next one, the same stone was over in the crown. It had moved that fast. Our ability to focus had changed that quickly.
Yeah. That's the fire. That's the strength. It is, and that's the strength of the fire energy that's coming. and the strength of the air energy that's coming as well. I mean, we have some of it's already in play, but a lot of
Well,
it isn't 100% in play yet because, like I said, I gave you those time frames. But the last one, if we still have a couple minutes, the last one I wanted to cover is the Jupiter in Leo.
okay.
And so it's right now, it's still in Gemini. Is it still retrograde? I do so many forecasts so far ahead, folks, that I can't remember. I'm ahead. I'm way ahead on some forecasting for myself. It's not till March. Yeah, it's not till March, like March 10th, March 11th. Jupiter goes direct. It's in Cancer, and we're still feeling incredibly that's the deep emotions, and again, that's the big focus on home and family and how we feel. And so we still have a number of months. So it's February, so March, April, May, June. So we still have 4 months, over 4 months with Jupiter in Cancer. So again, big focus on how we're feeling, our own mental health, if you will, our emotional health, and creating boundaries where we need to, especially around home and family, and just really taking care of yourself. But then Jupiter it stays in each zodiac sign for just over a year, just about 13 months, not quite. And June 29th or 30th, depends on where you live, 2026 is when it shifts into the fire sign. So that's it for the water
And it
sign.
likes it, and it likes being in the fire sign.
It
does not like being in the water sign.
No, because it's too emotional. It's overly emotional. That's why a lot of people's nervous systems are absolutely fried, because Jupiter has been in Cancer. Well, it's only one reason. It's one of the reasons. But Jupiter's been in Cancer since June of 2025. And it stays there. It's like I said, till the end of June 2026. So 13 months. Too much. It's too much. It's too much. You have to just know when it's too much, and you just have to oh my God, that's enough. So when it gets into Leo, that's going to magnify a lot of fire energy, just the Aries energy, the planets that are in Aries, self-expression.
Right. This is all the more reason why you need to take the tarot class. I'm starting on February 18th.
Nice.
6 weeks. And then we're training. We start with numerology, then we go into reading. And then we're going to have 4 weeks at the end of it, after the 6 weeks of training, and then 4 weeks if people want to do it. We're going to be working with Jeffrey's book on shadow work. And trust me, by the time this hits, it's going to be in April, your shadows are not only going to be following you around, they're going to be stomping behind you.
Yeah.
You're going to need to learn. So please, I've had several people sign up. It looks like it's going to be a good class. I
love it. Yeah.
And for the 4 weeks of shadow work afterwards, I'm inviting former students of mine to come so they can see how we've all grown and what we've done.
Yep.
And then the other thing is, if you really want to support me, go to Buy Me a Cup of Coffee.
Oh, yeah.
And you can get me a cup of coffee and put your little credit card in and help me pay for my new tire.
I know, that sucks.
Oh God. Walk out. Well, at least it was 68 and a light breeze, so it wasn't horrible.
Yeah.
And then
the light breeze here is minus something. It's
yeah,
so cool.
Dorothy's is in a snowbank. That's all I kept thinking. I said, I'm glad I'm not where Dorothy is.
I know. Oh yeah, when you get in your car when it's minus 12 and the wind is blowing, or single digit, and the tire light comes on, and you're like, oh shoot. And I go out and I look, and it's like I can't tell which one's low. But when it gets,
can you tell in the snow? I mean, I've never understood.
Oh, sir. Well, you don't park in a snowbank. Come on, the snow gets shoveled or plowed. I'm parking on asphalt. I'm not blowing through snowbanks all the time. We do have clear roads. The thing is, in parking lots, the thing is like when it gets that cold, if your tires are, say, 32 pounds of pressure, when it gets that cold, they contract.
It contracts.
It contracts, and then it sets off.
That's what the guy thinks. See, I haven't driven my car since we had the really cold weather. And what had happened is a bolt on the inside of my car, I have an old car, had been ripping at the side of the tire. And he said, the leak, he said, you're so lucky this happened
Yeah.
while you were sitting still, because this would have been a big blowout.
It would have been a messy blowout. It would have
The
been
universe
steering.
takes care of me, guys.
Front tire or back tire?
Front driver's side.
Oh, that's a problem. Yeah, that would have took you right over across the lanes. I'm glad it didn't happen.
Well, it didn't happen. But anyway, if you want to order readings, if you say, okay, I don't want to learn about astrology, but you should. If you don't want to go to Dorothy and learn about all that wonderful stuff, you can come over to Crystal Directions and see me.
Mhm. Right. And you don't have to learn astrology to have a session, guys. It's
just
my intention, especially these last number of years, is to do, you can have a reading. You don't have to know anything about your chart. I will interpret it in real life terminology. That's exactly what I've been doing here today. I have said a number of astrology verbiage and stuff, but the point is like I told you, it's always my intention. It's like, what does this mean for me? I want to know. Or if I was saying that and reading something, it's like, well, how do I use this? It's my best intention is to always try and tell you what it means for you. And that's where you get with just the weekly forecast and the daily, monthly, all the stuff. And especially in your private session. So there's that. And play with that Jupiter and Leo. I didn't get quite finished that yet, but when that Jupiter does get into the sign of Leo, we'll talk again before that, so we can dig into it. Yeah, but it's just playful and generous and a lot of confidence, and we'll just know more about what's going on in our world by then, anyways, because there's a lot between.
It's happening fast.
There's a lot going on between now and friggin' the end of June. Let's just get through February with these eclipses.
We get when it's not going to be frigid by Celtic Seer. She's in New York City.
Oh yeah.
And this is my last thought, is sharing safe, stay safe and protected, healing and abundant blessings until we meet again. And X's and O's for Valentine's Day.
Oh, that's right.
Yes,
Thank you,
everybody have a good time. Bye from Dorothy and bye from Nancy.
Bye-bye.